Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Janie Flores Live. We are so happy to join you once again. Thank you so very much for joining us on this Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as usual, we're here streaming on Facebook Live. And today we have an old friend working with us, a real pro. You won't see him, but he's there. And I feel so great to have him back on board. And that's our good friend Regan Mendoza, engineer, poet as well. I love his poetry. But thank you so much, Regan, for joining us and making this show what it is. Thank you so much. Well, today we have a special series that we're starting because we are now in the month of March and it is Women's History Month. And of course, during Women's History Month, we also celebrate International Women's Day. And we have the privilege and the honor of this year partnering with Today's Inspired Latina to bring you a series of conversations every Friday with some of the phenomenal authors that are part of that international book series. And you'll be meeting them and you're going to be uplifted and inspired and motivated and really awed by the awesome women that are part of this group and continue to grow. I'm inspired. When I read about them, I've just definitely been, awed by the great things that many of them have accomplished. So we're very honored. We're very grateful. And we are so happy to be able to embark on this journey this month with Today's Inspired Latina. And speaking of that, we want to welcome our first guest today. And that is our good friend, Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz, who is the CEO and founder of Fig Factor Media and the publisher of Today's Inspired Latina. And we're so happy to be able to have her on the show to kick off this series and learn a little bit more of what, started this whole journey for her. And if you follow her, you might know that she's also a pilot. You want to know about that as well. So welcome, Jacqueline. And I know that we're bringing you on. How are you doing?
Amazing.
Good. Excellent. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so thrilled that you could be with us. And more than anything, I'm thrilled over this partnership with Janie Flores Live and Today's Inspired Latina. And as you like to say, the universe downloaded it, right?
The divine downloads.
The divine downloads. There you go. That's what you say. I love that. And I'm so excited because I get to meet some of the phenomenal women who are part of Today's Inspired Latina, and I get to hear them and listen to their stories and learn from them and be inspired from them. But you started it all. And you're now on your 8th volume, going on to your 9th volume, no?
Yes, absolutely. Can you believe that?
Wow.
One idea, or what I call a divine download, which is to me an idea with an amazing feeling that sets you on a path that you did not imagine possible, right? And here we are creating powerful partnerships as we go into our 9th volume. We're in 25 countries. We have impacted thousands of lives across the United States, Mexico, Central, South America, Europe, and even Dubai. I mean, Today's Inspired Latina made it all the way to Dubai. So amazing connections like these with the amazing Janie Flores Live create a pathway for more conversations. And I'm so
Yes.
grateful that
Yes.
we get to commemorate, because I was corrected the other day. It said, you don't celebrate, you commemorate,
I like
because you elevate all the women that have
Yeah.
paved the way, from the first woman that gave us the right to vote, to the woman that the group of women that allowed us the right to own property, or to even have a credit card. I mean, that just happened in 1970s. Prior to that, everything you did had to be done under your husband's domain. Can you believe that? It's unbelievable. And here we are, independent, amazing, thriving, growing, creating abundance, and sharing our stories. I love it.
And I love it. I love that. And really that is what I look at today's Inspired Latina, and I see that, now you have 192 women who are part of this great initiative, part of this great project spanning the globe. And you continue to grow, and you continue to give other women, Jacqueline, that opportunity to also share their story, to share their challenges, to share how they've overcome and been successful in their life. And I think that's really important, to be able to have a platform that helps to elevate, right? Helps to elevate others, helps to elevate women in particular. As you said, women, we continue, we fought hard and we continue to fight hard because things are not level yet. And even for Latinas in particular, we, especially in this country, our pay rate is, there's such a large wage gap between Latinas and men, Latinas, and even other women, Anglo women. And so the fight continues. And all of these platforms, your platform, Janie Flores Live, are really a way for us to continue to insist on our relevance, to continue to insist on the important contributions that we make, to continue to insist that we are part of the landscape of this country in particular, and that our contributions also deserve the merit and the equal, whether it's pay or recognition that others have. And so I definitely feel honored, and I'm grateful that we have been able to partner on this wonderful series where we're going to meet more of these women from today's Inspired Latina. And I know that now it's 192. Tell me a little bit more about that and what's coming next for today's Inspired Latina.
Well, we are super excited about Volume 9 because, again, any time that you have 9 volumes of anything,
wow,
it's a testament to something, right? I mean, I
yes,
never set out on a journey. Yes, the Divine Download came in 2014, and I surrendered. I embraced it, and I started to pave the way to make it happen. But I never had the intention of making it into a series. I never had the intention of making it. So I've always surrendered. And even women that would ask me, are you going to do next volume? Are you going to do volume 2 or 3 or 4? I would say, let me pray about it. Because, more and more I feel this calling of, sometimes a mission, you choose a mission, sometimes a mission chooses you. And if you are brave enough to surrender to that mission, and if you're brave enough to take action day in and day out, and if you believe that there's something greater, even if you might not see it right away. So I just continue to expand on that. Latina Talks, which is a platform that allows the authors of today's Inspired Latina to share their messages via videos. We're having a global tour tomorrow. We're super excited for that. Came out of the need to share their stories in a multimedia platform. We recorded close to 100, Latina Talks, all over the world, including recording one at the New York Times a couple of years ago. And a board game was born based on this need of how do we share stories and how do we create extemporaneous speaking opportunities for the authors, for the community, for the families that are coming together to play. Sometimes there's tears that are, come out because you're going deeper. And those questions that are in the board game were inspired by the stories of today's Inspired Latina. So the beauty here, Janie, and I'm just so proud of what you've done over the last 4+ years with your show. I'm proud of what you continue to do with elevating women and really changing that narrative, augmenting it, accelerating that narrative of value of what we bring to the table. And you know what continues is just continue to share that, continue to create partnerships like this, continue to, let those ideas flow, continue to serve. My purpose in life is to elevate women. I do that with the books, with the book series, with my keynotes around the world, and now, most of them virtual. And even the little planes I fly, as a pilot. Literally, I've elevated in my little plane over 100 women, and several of those women have decided to get their pilot's license. So, you know what? We pay the way with our actions. We pay the way with the kinds of things that we align with. And today is the beginning of something absolutely amazing for today's Inspire Latina and Janie Flores Live. And we hope that it continues every year and continues to elevate even more women. We have 50
Yes. So, you're starting on your ninth volume now, Jacqueline. And if there's Latinas listening to us, from across the country, I've received emails and I've received, text messages and DMs, we're going to be tuning in. What would you say to them about participating in an initiative like today's Inspired Latina, becoming a contributing author in one of, in the next volume?
I would say, these initiatives, anthologies, are an amazing way to pave the way for becoming a full-blown author. They're an incredible experience to create sisterhood, a sorority, a connection, a community. They're an amazing way to test your writing skills, because you know what, the way you speak is different than the way you write, and writing has a powerful effect to to change the narrative, to help you look inside and see what drives you, and even identify things that you didn't consider that they were viable before. So writing things, just simply this exercise of capturing your story. And when you feel like you're not alone, when you feel like you're walking, in the footsteps, and you're walking together with other people, then it makes it easier for you to say, I became a contributing author to a book like this. So I think everyone, as a first-time author, should consider, doing something like this to pay the way for your own books. I started
And
like that. Well,
yes,
I started actually with my own book, but now I
okay.
have 24.
Wow,
So you
fabulous.
never
I love it.
know.
And I'm a contributing author as well, because I was part of one of the books that your company, Fig Factor Media, published, your publishing company, and that's Hispanic Stars Rising, right? It's a new
Yay.
face of power. And so I was so honored to be a part of that, and so very grateful to Hispanic Star for the opportunity, and to you for putting it together and making it happen. And what an exciting project to be a part of. And I think that one of the things that I've always said, and I have to congratulate you on the women that are part of this. Even the women, and I say this because when this came together, this partnership happened very quickly. And you're a pro, I'm a pro. We made it rock. And the women that are going to be a part of the series, already, they're already posting, they're already sharing. I mean, they're already, it's like, you can sense their appreciation of being able to share their stories, to share on a different platform. And I think that's so important, Jacqueline, because, whenever somebody, invites me to speak somewhere, to an interview, to anything, I want to share that. I want to share that, number one, because I'm grateful. It's not easy to get on a stage, right? It's not easy. And these are called stages, right? It's not easy to get on these different platforms. And so when someone gives you that opportunity, I'm always like, thank you, and I'm sharing and reposting, and because I want to make sure that they know that, that I appreciate the opportunity, and I love your women. I love your women. I'm so excited to talk to them. They're already sharing and posting and resharing on social media. And, it's like, wow, this is fantastic. I mean, let me tell you, I've had people on my program, and, we create the art and we post it. I mean, they haven't even done a reshare, right? And I'm like, okay. But, your women are, what that is? It's savvy. That's being savvy entrepreneurs and understanding marketing and PR. And I think you've done a great job prepping them on the opportunities that we're all given, and saying, hey, make the most of it.
Exactly. And I think that's, that's what a lot of people say. They say, wow, there's something really magical, really special about this community of Today's Inspired Latina. Even when we attend sometimes other events, they're like, no, there's like this magic, right? And I think that comes from love. My mission, like I said, is to elevate other women, to do that through all the things that I do, all the things that I'm doing to elevate them. So it's just magical.
So we're going to be interviewing three women every week, every Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. And today we have Monika Alvarez, who's going to be coming on, and Leslie Regalado. And then we have Monse Moreno, Tamika Lech. How do you pronounce her last name? Leche Morales. Leche Morales. We have Leonor Gil, Gloria Romo, Irene Anzola, Irma Zavala, Claudia Rodriguez, Liz Barromo, and Elisa Marquez, who's going to be, all of them are going to be on during this month. And I'm so looking forward to speaking to them, to getting to
Love
meet
them.
them.
They're amazing. Every single one of
Good.
them. As long as I live and God gives me energy, I will continue to elevate women because that's bigger than anything, bigger than all the fame, all the money, all the other stuff. I never work for any of that stuff. I work for dreams. And as long as God gives me life, I will continue to be a dream catcher for as many women as I can.
I love that. So, how can we follow you, Jacqueline? How can we follow you? How can we get more information for those women who are listening? How can they, be a part of this?
If you go to my website, jackiecamacho.com, it'll give you the links to all the crazy things that Pi Latina is doing, including, of course, this international movement, Today's Inspire Latina, and my teddy bear adventures and all kinds of stuff. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a force to be reckoned with. You're a powerhouse. And I'm just so excited that we're here sharing in this moment and commemorating International Women's Day the entire month. Yay!
Yes. I love it. I love it. And thank you so much, Jacqueline. I love your energy. I love your vision. I love the work that you're doing. You make us all very proud. And I love your mission. And I'm joining in. Elevating women is something that we all need to do because especially Latino women, right? Especially
Absolutely.
Latino women. And in the near future, we'll do something else. We'll maybe focus a little bit more on some of those statistics that are out there that we really need to listen and hear and, absorb them and say, hey, what can I do to change that? How can I transform the world around me, in particular with regards to Hispanic and Latino women? And I think, if you take a moment, right, to just think and to meditate and to be open to receiving the creativity, the ideas, so that fit in line with your purpose, that align with your purpose. You're going to find a way that for you to also elevate other women and others in general. And so thank you so much, Jacqueline. It's been so great to
Thank
have
you
you
so
on
much.
here. I'm
Have
so
fun today,
excited.
Monica and Leslie.
Yes,
Mwah.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that was our good friend Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz, CEO and founder of Fig Factor Media and of Today's Inspired Latina. And this really has been such a great, such a great opportunity to come together, to join in and to say, hey, let's both use our platforms to elevate women and to commemorate, not just celebrate, but commemorate women and all of the contributions that we have made, in particular in this country. And I always talk about that. I talk about the contributions that multicultural people have made in this country, because we need to remember that we are definitely a part of the fabric of this country. We're interwoven, and we are part of what makes us the nation that we are globally, right? We are, we like to say that, America is the most powerful nation in the world. And whether we're close to being, I think one of the most powerful nations in the world, but that is because of our uniqueness. And what is that uniqueness? All of the different people from different backgrounds that have made contributions to this country, to this land, to the progress. And we cannot forget that. Okay, we can't forget that. We need to not only just not forget that, we need to make sure that we are giving voice to that throughout our platforms. And we are doing a series in conjunction, in partnership with Today's Inspired Latina. And on the first part, you heard our good friend, the founder of Today's Inspired Latina, Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz. And now we're going to meet two of the other women who are part of Today's Inspired Latina, which is a series of books that share the stories, the challenges, the successes of Latinas from across the country, across Latin America, and even from other parts of the world. And now I'd love to welcome our first guest here in part two. That is Monika Alvarez, and she's affectionately the Monika Alvarez coach, all right? And she's the CEO and founder of Club Six Digitos, Club Seis Dígitos en Español. So welcome, Monika. Welcome. So happy to be able to welcome you to Janie Flores Live and this wonderful partnership that we have with Today's Inspired Latina. There you are. Welcome. Hello.
So thrilled and excited to be here.
So thrilled and happy to have you, my friend. And I was telling Jacqueline earlier in the first part of the show how I'm just so impressed with you, with Leslie, and with some of the other women who, as soon as you knew you were going to be a part of the show, you have been just blowing up social media and sharing. And I'm like, wow, I feel so honored. That is fantastic. And, to me, that shows just like appreciation, gratitude. I know I was telling Jacqueline, when I'm invited to do an interview or to be a panelist or a guest speaker or a keynote speaker somewhere, I'm like, I just, publish it all over the place because really it is an honor. And I think that one of the things that is like a tool that I have is gratitude, right? I think that gratitude is so powerful. And, I think that it continues to open doors for you. So I just want to say thank you for sharing. And you have thousands and thousands of followers. And I know that, that they are following you, and now they know about Janie Flores Live. So Monika, tell me a little bit about yourself, about what is this Club Seis Dígitos? I love it. I might join.
Yes. No, well, I mean, just to add a little bit of what, you're welcoming. Absolutely. I totally agree about being the omnipresence, which is everywhere. And because it is attached to that gratitude and most importantly to the honor to being able to be presented in these platforms, like you mentioned, having the collaboration and everything. Jackie has been fabulous. She has been an angel in our lives. And thanks to that, we are meeting wonderful women like yourself and so many others. So we are so beyond, filled with gratitude and also be very, very blessed. So going back to Club Seis Dígitos, this is a community of women entrepreneurs, Janie, where we kind of empower each other based on our experiences. And we are from all different industries. And basically, it's a platform where we gather together and just, showcase what we're passionate about. It could be a product, it could be a service, and more importantly, we learn from each other, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. We're exchanging always, the talents and all those wonderful experiences that we have. I mean, coming from a corporate world and going into entrepreneur, life has been quite a challenge, but also very learning experience where most importantly, I give all the credit to these wonderful women that I've been inspired with. So I can myself give the best of myself, you know. So yes, that's Club Seis Digitos. Our platform is 100% in Spanish because I felt that once I started this community, there was a need for the Spanish, you know, presence and basically in our language and everything. And
Yeah.
so now we're very blessed to have Latinas from all over the US, Central America, Latin America, even Europe, Spain, and all that good stuff. Thanks to this, thanks to the technology and
That,
social media and all that good stuff. Yes, indeed.
yes, that is wonderful and amazing. And you know, I know that you are one of today's Inspired Latinas. Which volume were you a part of?
Volume 8. Volume
Okay.
8, a co-author of Volume 8 with another other 19 wonderful, you know, authors, and it's been such an amazing experience since the day I said yes, that I was very blessed to be invited, and thanks to Jackie and all the wonderful co-writers. I mean, it's been a ride. It's been an absolutely wonderful experience, no doubt.
And what did you write about in volume 8 in your particular story?
Well, Janie, I think the story that I wanted to share with the Latinas, and most importantly, you know, from coming from my experience, was to give them a hope of inspiration as far as my transition from the corporate world into entrepreneurship. Because for me, I was a little bit over 20 years with corporate America. And quite honest, I always had within myself the essence of launching my own business. But because of the fears and insecurities and all of the little voices, negative voices that we have, well, you know, you have a secure job, you have a corporate, you know, you're in the corporate world, you're earning the 6 digits, you're traveling the world. What else do you want, Monika? Well, I wanted to launch that whole passion that was inside my heart. And I didn't know where to start. So basically that's what I share in my book. My the the transition that happened between saying no to the corporate world and saying yes to entrepreneur, the experience of just following your dreams, more importantly, just having the courage to make them a reality. And now, you know, after 5 years that I've been in this, you know, journey, I am so blessed. I've been able to connect with so many wonderful entrepreneurs. I've been able to serve them and continue to serve them because at the end of the day, that's what I feel it is. It's a leadership service that I provide, and that's what I share in the book, most importantly.
That's important, and I think that overcoming those fears, you know, challenging yourself to take that step, that first step in faith, right? Where you don't really know what's going to happen, but you know that there's a calling in your heart. You know that you're here to serve a greater purpose, and stepping out, even with that fear. You know, do it afraid, you know, but do it so that you don't have regrets later on. I think that's something that you know, is motivating to so many of us. And I share your, you know, I think I share a little bit of your story as well, because I was in corporate America as well before I launched my own company. And, you know,
Okay.
people thought I was crazy. People think
Yes.
they're like, why, you know, why are you doing this? You're secure, you're fine. Why would you want to, you know, destabilize your life? But again, you know, I think that if you have, and there's nothing wrong with staying in corporate America, and I, you know, I think that there are so many people and women who are in corporate America, and we need them there, right? Especially Latino women to represent us, to be,
Yes.
you know, a seat at the table, to be in executive positions, to be in leadership roles. But if you have a calling, if you have, you know that there's something in your heart that's pulling you, right, to
Yes.
do something else, I think that you really need to consider that. So let me ask you something. I know that even, you know, there were fears and uncertainties, but was there a preparation that you went through before you took that step? You know, what were some of the things that you did so that you were, even though you may, you know, may have been uncertain, at least you had somewhat of a plan?
Well, most importantly, Janie, I think it was kind of like the reprogramming that I had as a child. I come from a family, my parents had traditional businesses, and I was kind of like their support to run these traditional businesses at a very early age. I was a teenager, as a matter of fact, but just having the leadership to run your own company, like you said, and having the skills and all that, that was kind of what I was afraid, launching your own signature brand and all that good stuff. But of course, I've been very blessed to have great mentors. I've been very blessed to have great people to support me, to guide me. And because of that support, it's because of the success that we now have with Club Seis Digitos. And most importantly, I continue to kind of have that support with them, because at the end of the day, they're where we want to be, speaking from my perspective. So what you do is you just kind of rely on the experts, and you just kind of gain all their knowledge and apply it on yourself and go from there. So that was the preparation, and I continue to be a student, because like we always say, before you can lead, you need to follow. So that's where we're at, and where every day is a learning experience, and just being like, but once you are passionate about what you're doing, and you give every step in faith, well then, great things start to happen. Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. And, I love what you say that, we have to, we have to know how to be a good follower if we want to lead. I completely believe that. And, and as well as being a lifelong learner, the learning doesn't stop. And, I know that even during COVID, when for my company, so many things changed. I mean, from literally from one day to the next, we lost our conferences, we lost our sponsors, everything stopped. And, it was a moment where, you had to pivot, right? You had to say, okay, this is what I have in my hands. What am I going to do with it? And, I think, how did you deal with that?
Absolutely. Well, when I started with this whole dream about launching my own business, Janie, quite honest, my inquietud was more importantly about having a presence online, because I knew it was the present, which is back in 2016 when I started, and it was the future. And look at it now, this is, everybody knows about Zoom. Back then, they were like, Zoom, where are we meeting? Via Zoom. They were like, well, what's that? How do you run that? So here I was teaching others to run Zoom rather than really coaching them with my services. So my, going back to your point, as far as, how do you handle that? You have to always be looking to that vision that you want to create a reality now in your present life. So for me, it was always trying to have that presence online, because I love to travel. So I said, I really want to run my business through a laptop or through my phone. I always had that in my mind. And now it's a reality, everywhere I go, I have that flexibility. And thanks to, from the experience that we went through as far as pivoting, like you mentioned, most importantly, for me, it was like kind of my business just took off. Just literally, it just took off because of that. Because I already had that, I had planted that seed. So, once you water it correctly, and then you have a situation like last year, then you just embrace it, so to speak.
I love it. That's great. So even during a pandemic, you have been able to thrive, and that is fantastic. And it's so encouraging to so many of us, as we're facing this new situation. Well, now it's been a year, so you're right. Now it's like you pivot, and those seeds that you've planted are blossoming. So we're very happy. So let me ask you something. Monika, if people want to connect with you, how do they find you? How do they connect with you? How can we learn more about the services that you offer, your coaching services, and other platforms that you're a part of?
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that good stuff, as Monika Alvarez Coach. And then, of course, we also have Club Seis Digitos, also on all these platforms. And because we're constantly doing, Facebook Lives, and while we're always doing these gatherings and our Facebook groups, but more importantly, if they want to get in touch with us and to, give us the opportunity to present what we offer. Monika Alvarez coach, that's how we are. And Club Seis Digitos. And Club Seis Digitos, most importantly, I just want to mention this, Janie, is because a lot of people, they think about, making the 6 digits. And yes, indeed, it's part of it. But most importantly for me, launching this platform was to give women entrepreneurs tools in 6 different areas of their life. Because we need that balance, it's not just business, it's not just earning the 6 digits. Most importantly, it's connecting with your inner power, connecting with your full potential, just believing in yourself. And because it's kind of like the experience that I took from this transition that I mentioned to you. And so now this is what we offer. That's exactly what we offer in our coaching services, the balance, the empowerment on all these 6 areas. So you need to come and learn more about us.
I love it. I'm so excited. I'm going to check you guys out. I love it. Well, you know what, Monika, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so thrilled and so honored that you are part of the Janie Flores live show. And, as we celebrate Women's Month and International Women's Day, thank you for sharing your story, for being part of our platform, and for helping to elevate other women as well.
Thank you. God bless you. And you're doing a fantastic job. So love what you're doing. Thank you so much, Janie. Te mando muchos besos, hermosa. Un fuerte abrazo virtual.
Igualmente. Gracias, Monika. Bendiciones.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. What a wonderful story that we have heard from Monika. And I really am so encouraged, by her energy. And listen, the pandemic elevated her business even more. I love it. So now I'd love to welcome our next guest, who is also part of today's Inspired Latina. She is also one of the contributing authors, and we'll find out a little bit more about that. Leslie Regalado, who is a purpose and business coach. Welcome, Leslie, to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Janie Flores live show. And there we go. How are you, Miss Leslie?
I am wonderful.
Oh, look at you. I love it. I love your hair. I love everything. My God.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I am great. Con un poco de pena, but thank you. I appreciate your patience.
Tranquila. No, tranquila. Thank you so much for joining us, Leslie. And really, for me, it's such a privilege to have, entrepreneurs like you, leaders like you on the show. We're so fortunate to be able to partner with, today's Inspired Latina to celebrate and commemorate Women's History Month and, of course, International Women's Day. And that's how we've connected with you. And so we're so grateful that you are on. And let me ask you something, Leslie. Which volume were you a part of with today's Inspired Latina?
Volume 8. So one of the most recent ones. I think
one of the recent ones.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Purpose Plus Biz. That's what you're doing now. You're coaching, and I know that this was has been a big shift for you, right? Yeah. It's been a big change for you. I was reading a little bit about your background, and oh wow, all of a sudden you went from one industry to the next, and recently. So tell us about that shift, that change, that pivot.
So the first pivot I took was years ago when I was just like 22 years old. I went from healthcare to network marketing. And that was huge for me because I had never sold anything. I was a huge introvert. I didn't really like people. I didn't really like women. And that's what I ended up, God has a really big sense of humor because it's exactly who I was working with. I work with women all day, every day. So that was the first pivot. And then recently, just about a year and a half ago, actually about 3.5 years ago, my mom passed away. And they always say something shifts, something moves inside of you, something awakens inside of you when there's a birth or a death, in your life of people that you really care about. And my mom passed away, and that just kind of woke me up to the reality that I've always known, but just kind of was brought to, front, was the fact that life is too dang short. And you start questioning, or I started questioning, what am I here to do? Like, I enjoy what I do, but I don't love it. It doesn't lighten up my day. It doesn't light me up every day. I can't wait to get out of bed every morning to go do it. Like, that's not what I feel. So I started kind of in that search for like the last 3 years. Every morning I would go to prayer and I was just like, God, just show me, show me where to go. And last year, actually in September, I decided to start a podcast. And that's kind of what started everything, that whole big shift. I didn't really know what the heck I was going to do with the podcast. It was just this little divine download that I received. I started the podcast, and actually that's how I connected with Jackie, who is the main, the main brains of today's Inspired Latina. And she was actually a guest on my podcast. So that started something, me writing my story inside of Volume 8 of Today's Inspired Latina shifted some more things inside of me. And then that kind of led me to creating a Facebook group. And then that led me to starting like a membership that's actually no longer available, but that led me into what I do now. And I always say, if you don't take that very next step, your very next best step that you know that you need to take, if you don't take that one, you'll never know what the steps after that will be. And if I would have waited until I had a clear vision of where I was going before I got started, I would still be in the same place praying for God to show me what I was supposed to be doing in life. So I'm very grateful that I actually had the courage to take that very first step, because like I said, it brought me here to where I am today.
That is inspiring. And, I commend you for taking that step. I know that many times, we take steps, right, in faith, right? We take steps, not really know, and that's what faith is about. You don't really know exactly the exact path, but you take that step and you see the world and the opportunities and the doors start to open in front of you. And all of a sudden, all of these things start to come together. And you're like, wow, thank God I took that step, right? Because otherwise you'd still be in that same spot where you were at before. So, I think that right now you touched on something that many people are doing right now. That's examining their purpose. Leslie, examining, what is, I was talking about it earlier on the show, they're examining what their purpose in life is, what they value the most, what their priorities are. And I think that's a result of what we're living right now. We're living through this pandemic, and that's really caused people to start to shift and to start to examine their lives. And I think this is a perfect time for someone like you to be able to help them, to come alongside of them. And just as you're still going, even through your journey, they can partner up with you and, both discover, right, what's happening. So tell me a little bit about this purpose and biz coaching that you're doing right now.
You know what? I am just a few steps ahead of where most people are right now. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of people that are where I was at a few years back, just questioning, kind of going a little deeper within and unpacking some of what they're feeling and thinking, and, where they're at, unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, isn't okay any longer. And so, like I said, I'm just a few steps ahead. And one of my favorite things to do is just to bring people on that journey with me. I know just a tiny bit more, and I'm learning all day long, because one of the things that I love to do is invest in myself. So I actually currently made my highest investment in myself recently. So one of the things that I love to share with the women that I'm either going to coach or are thinking about it is, I'm always investing in me. And what that means for them is the fact that when I grow, they grow, because I learn, I implement, and then I come back and teach them. And I think it's a gift, because so many people don't, I always say, like, you can Google all day long and you can try to do it all yourself, but it's hard. It takes so long. I made so many mistakes over the last couple of years, just trying to find my way. And the minute I started investing in myself and allowing someone to guide me through the journey that they had just experienced, and like you said, we're still in just a few steps ahead of me, it started to save me so much time, so much energy, and so much money. So that's my kind of mission. That's what I discovered was my mission, to help women unlock their purpose and figure out, what am I here to do? Because I believe that we were all created for something specific. I don't care if it's the same thing that your neighbor does or the other person on the other side, but you are the only one that could do it the way you uniquely can do it. And I think the magic within what you do is in you. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it special. I think so many people doubt, well, everyone's already doing it, or no one's doing it. I feel like if everyone's already doing it, there's a market then. There's people that are willing to pay for what you have to offer. And if no one's doing it and you have done your research and you know this can be something great that someone else will actually pay for and will thank you for it later, then go ahead and try it out. I guess you'll just never know unless you try.
I love that. Absolutely. I can't agree with you more. And I think investing in yourself is one of the hardest things for women to do. Many times we're conditioned, right, to put others before us, to our families, our children, the home, whatever. And I think that's something that we need to intentionally, intentionally say, hey, wait a minute, I need to put myself first. Because it's going to help everything and everyone around me as I change or be transformed into that higher me, right? That next level me that will impact everyone and everything around us. Now, how do you talk to women to encourage them, to say, hey, you know what? Think about you, invest in yourself first.
One of the questions that I tend to ask, that was asked to me years ago was, what is it costing you to not do that? Or what are you going to get more of if you decide not to invest in you? Because I think there's some of us that we know we need that extra little bit of guidance and support. And there's people that just, like I did for years, I try to learn I download all the freebies. I attended all the, free conferences and free masterclasses. But there's something that happens when you decide to put that money down. They say when you pay attention. And I couldn't agree more. There's some skin in the game at that point. It's not, because I've done some stuff, I've learned probably the things that I'm learning now and that I've learned over the last year. I'm sure I knew it. I knew some of it at least. But was I actually implementing that knowledge? I think so many times we're content collectors. We're content hoarders in a way. And my thing is we need to go from content collectors to actual consistent action takers, because that's where the magic happens. You can know the best technique, you can be the smartest, you can be the most talented, the most gifted, but if you never take that and do something with it, take action, it won't matter because no one will ever find out about it. So every time I talk to someone, one of the questions, if they're kind of questioning whether they can or they should, it's like, okay, what is it costing you to not make this investment in yourself? Or what are you going to get more of if you choose not to? And usually it's more of the same. Nothing changes unless something changes.
That's a very, very important question. What is it costing you to not invest in yourself? I think that's a question that we all need to be asking ourselves, at this very moment. So let me ask you something, Leslie. If we wanted to know more about you, about your services, about what you offer, about how we can take this journey with you, how do we connect with you? How do we contact you? How do we follow you?
Absolutely. Instagram is one of my favorite places to hang out. It's at Leslie Regalado 26. And that's where I'm sharing all the new things that are coming. I'm about to launch a new program called Impact GPS. I'm super excited about it because it's going to help people learn how to build an authentic personal brand online. One where it's secret weapon because you're the unique thing within it. How to take that specialized knowledge that you already have, package it up, and then share it with those that will actually pay you for it and thank you for it afterwards. And then just lastly, create within that same program. I'm going to teach you how to create that special, really wonderful offer that you have within yourself. And I have something that's called the 3WH, and it is the what, the who, the where, and the how of your offers. So that's a really special passion project of mine that I've been working on for about a month and a half now. And it's about to come out, and I share it all on Instagram. So
awesome. And tell us your podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
Oh, yes. The podcast is called Perfectly Imperfect with Leslie Regalado. And on there, I actually do something similar to what you're doing here today. I actually just started season 2, and I just feature women from all different walks of life who come on there and share that courage that it took to do that beautiful thing that they're doing right now, whether it's making them a ton of money or not. I just want them to share their story. I want to give them a platform, because one thing that I know is that when I hear stories of women specifically, because I'm a female, obviously, who are out there doing something that's bringing them joy, that's lighting up their life, that's making them happy, like something magical happens. It inspires me. It makes me believe like if she can do it, then so can I. So I bring on women into the show and just have them share their story, ask questions. We had a phenomenal, beautiful woman, Crystal, last week who shared that she started her business making piñatas for $10. And 11 years later, she is still, in this business, super happy. It actually helped her survive cancer. So it's, it's pretty cool when you hear these stories of these amazing, inspiring women.
I love that. I love that. Piñatas. I love it.
Yes.
Fascinating. Our motto is we have conversations with fascinating people. I mean, I think I totally agree with you. I mean, I think that all of my guests are fascinating. I think we've interviewed over 300 guests on our show in the past going on 4 years now. And each guest is so special, so unique. And we love sharing their stories and giving them a platform, to share with the community at large. And I think that's important. And I thank you as well for lifting your voice and giving others that platform for them to share as well, Leslie, because we need that. There aren't enough. I see a lot of people starting podcasts or little interview, programs, and I absolutely love it. We need more, we need our voices to be heard. I think for too long, especially Latinas, we've been silenced, right? Mm-hmm. We have not been heard. We've been hidden away. We're behind the scenes. We're the workers, and that's fine. But we need to hear those beautiful stories of our perseverance, of our grit, right? Mm-hmm. Of overcoming those obstacles, the challenges, of the contributions that we make day in and day out, every day in this nation, right? And even more now, as we've been going through this pandemic, the essential workers that are out there, a lot of them are Latinas. A lot of them are Latinas. Listen, only 16% of Latinos are people who can work from home. I consider myself blessed because I've been able to work from home. But let me just tell you, over 80% of our people are out there on the front lines. Mm-hmm. And so we need to hear those stories. It always, I always question it. And that's why I'm like, hey, the more people who can start shows, the better. You watch, mainstream media or even cable news, and you hear all these stories. They're always interviewing, for good or bad, all these, people who look like them, right? And I'm like, okay, every once in a while, they have a Latina or an African American on their show, but most of the time it's about, their experiences, their stories, and that's fine. But that means then if they're not going to tell my story, I better make sure I'm doing it, or I better make sure that I'm partnering with somebody like Leslie, to share my story. So I congratulate you. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. And just talking to you really just motivates me and encourages me to continue the work that we do on Janie Flores Live. But very good. Well, thank you so much, Leslie, for joining us today. I mean, I love this. And listen, thank you for sharing, that you were going to be on the show on social media. I was sharing with Jacqueline earlier that, when somebody invites me on a show or on, to be a panelist or a keynote speaker or something, I'm like, I share with the whole world because I'm grateful. Okay. But thank you so much again, Leslie, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. It was such a gift.
Thank you so much. And we're going to follow you, Leslie Regalado 26 on Instagram.
Yes. And Leslie Regalado on Facebook. Yeah. You can find me usually anywhere under the Regalado, but Instagram didn't allow me to do that. So I have the number 26 for my birthday.
Okay. But you know what? Your Facebook page is full because I try to follow you and it won't let me.
Yes. You know what? I have to go in there and like do some behind the scenes work.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Leslie. It's really been a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. A fantastic interview with Leslie, and definitely somebody that we're going to stay connected with. We want to know more of what's going on with her. And thank you so much to Monika and to Leslie for joining us on the show today, as well as for Jackie. And listen, stay tuned. Because we will be every month, every week in the month of March, we will be bringing you 3 interviews from today's Inspired Latina. So if you like what you heard today, you're going to be absolutely love every week that we have in March, all these phenomenal women. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Regan, if you can just share one more time our flyer from Hialeah Cares. I just want to remind everybody that this is going on tomorrow in Hialeah. Miami-Dade College on Friday, tomorrow on Saturday, March 6th, is going to have a drive-through giveaway event called Hialeah Cares. And, this is the second time they're going to do this. They did this last year, and it came out of a conversation that I had with one of their coordinators and directors. And we're talking about, doing things together and how we were just strategizing about doing things that could impact for good the community. And this was one of the ideas, and she loved it. She ran with it. And last year we were able to serve 500 families. It was in the drive-through event as well. We were able to serve 500 families with food, with toiletries, essential care products. Of course, we had our good friends from Hispanic Star join in. IMC Health joined in as well. And that was, they all came together. Farm Share was there as well last year. And they were able to help 500 families. I think a little bit over 500 families. It went so well that and the students at Miami-Dade College Hialeah were fantastic. They were awesome. They were there. They had on their little T-shirts, their masks. It was wonderful, and just really serving the community around them. And so they decided to do it once again this year. And this year they doubled. They're doubling the the amount of people that they want to serve. So they are preparing to serve 1,000 families, and it's going to be a drive-through, right? It's a drive-through giveaway event. So you stay in your car, you pull up through on 17th Avenue, and and they bring the box and they put it in the trunk. We're going to be masked up. Everybody's going to have their mask. Everybody's going to, make sure that they're observing protocols. So you don't have to be concerned about that. But if you know somebody, okay, we're still in the middle of this pandemic, people. And especially in South Florida, there are people who are still suffering. All right. There are people who are still suffering. There are people who, still don't have employment, or who may not have full employment. Their hours may have been cut, and this is an opportunity for us to give back. So if you know somebody, you know what, tell them, go. We don't need to know who you are. Just pull up in your car, and pop up the trunk, and someone will drop in a box of food there. And again, with essential care products. The essential care products are so important as well. And I'm so honored to also be a part of Hispanic Star, and Procter & Gamble on a national level is part of Hispanic Star, has really partnered with us to be able to give these essential care products and toiletries as well to the community. So definitely make sure that you join us tomorrow. It's starting at 10 o'clock. It's from 10 to 1, but really starts at 10 until, the boxes and everything is gone. So, and be patient. The last time there will be, police directing traffic, but the last time there was a long line of cars. So be patient. We will, they'll get to you, and no, not too much beeping, please. don't start beeping, honking, and getting impatient. We will get you. But if you know someone, please share this. All right. please share this with them and let them know that we will be there tomorrow starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. And the address is 1780 West 49th Street in Hialeah. And it's right across from West Sun Mall and that area there, right off the Palmetto. So it's Hialeah Cares, March 6th, starting at 10 o'clock a.m. Masks are required to make sure that you are masked up. If you do have any questions, you can call 305-237-8871. Again, that's 305-237-8871. Thank you so much to the Sharks. Go Sharks. Go Hialeah Sharks. Miami-Dade College, Hialeah. Thank you so much. And then I also want to give a shout out to our good friends over at IMC Health. Our good friends over at IMC Health, we love them. They're fantastic. They do such a good job at everything they do. And we're so happy to be able to call them our good friends and be working with them. And right now they've got a program for their members called Step Ahead. Right, it's called the Step Ahead program, and it's a new year, it's a new you, and really it's about being able to save money, right? It's designed to keep your body and your wallet happy. I love that, happy and healthy, right? Designed to keep your body and your wallet happy and healthy. It's a wellness and savings program, right? So with Step Ahead, you're going to have access to nutritional counseling, special membership deals, to an online fitness community for those who are 60 years and older called the Vitality Society. You'll also be able to step ahead to savings with deals to restaurants, financial services, and so much more. So if you want to know more about Step Ahead, you can visit imchealth.com/step ahead and find out more about that. And of course, this is for their members. So if you're a member of IMC Health, this is definitely for you. And if you're not a member of IMC Health, this is something that will apply to you if you become a member. So you can even ask them questions about that as well. Again, Step Ahead, a new wellness and savings program designed to help keep your body and your wallet happy and healthy. I love it. I love that. I love that. And you know what? It's a new year. And so I definitely think it's definitely important to keep those things in mind. Thank you so much once again for joining us on the show today. It's really been a pleasure. This was part 2. Make sure you connect with us with part 1 as well. And we will talk to you next week. And Regan, thank you very much.